Okay, good morning everyone. Poker Hobbit here. We're going to play some micro stakes no limit hold'em on the Quadminers Club. Been playing here quite a bit in the last week or so. This is going to be an unedited video, so we'll just roll through it and see how we go. I might splash around a little bit just for a bit of fun, I guess. Um, Action's been very good. Stats are insanely good. I might put a bit of music on in the background, and I'll have a look at it afterwards and see if it's any good. But anyway, we'll get into it. I'll probably just start with two tables, and we might increase it to three or four tables, two under each profile as we go along. Um, Not that much here at the moment. We'll look for a six max game. This has got a call time function, but whatever. We'll just get into it. Buying for 200 bigs. Used to be 400 bigs. They've just changed it. As a competent player, I guess that's disappointing. But if I'm looking at it from the union's point of view, I think it makes sense because allowing some of these, largely recreational players to buy in 400 big blinds is problematic, i.e. they can bust their rolls pretty quickly. So you do find a lot of short stackers in this game, which some people don't like. Doesn't bother me because they don't really play short stack strategy that well. They tend to get it in pretty light with no fold equity. So hopefully we'll see a few examples of that, and I'll just have a look over on this one here. I think we're already on this table, so I'm not going to click on. Actually, I'll do it just to show you, but this, I guess, sort of proves that anti-variance is my other player, so I will get blocked off that table if I try and join. So I guess that's a good example of some of the security that they have, which is nice. So there's another one here. No, that's the same one. Fuck, what a good start. Try here. Yep, we can do this one. I'm just going to pump this. I should have checked their stats before I did that, but we'll get around to that in a minute. Ace of spades, two overcards, paired board. We're going to see bet here. We should take it down most of the time. Someone might rejam here with a flush draw. There we go. Yeah, we can't call that off. We're not closing the action either, so we'll dump that. A wonderful start. Sorry, I'm just trying to realign the tables. You'll find I'm opening a lot in these micro games. I think happy to open wider and get involved in pots with a wider range post flop because I think a lot of the players in this environment make post flop mistakes. So I'm more than comfortable trying to get involved in those sort of pots because the implied odds tend to be quite high. The stack sizes allow for more mistakes, I think, because people get wedded to their hands and are more likely to jam the short stacks in with not a lot of equity. So yeah, like I said, hopefully we'll get a few examples of that in this session. Here's a call time table. So once we start winning, I generally click the call time button straight away because you've got to stay on the table for 15 minutes. Same with this table here. It's not a feature I love, to be honest, but it's to stop hit and run. I don't really think it does. I think what it does is people that are going to hit and run tend to just going to sit there and blind out for 15 minutes. So it's actually, I think, holding up the action if there's a new player waiting. But the union, the union is trying to do the right thing, and culturally, players do get upset if people sort of, triple up and then just hit the eject button straight away. So they might get blinded out, but the optics of it are they're still on the table. Pick up a gutter ball here. We're going to fold if anyone bets, but so basically all the yellow, they're all VPIPs over 40%. Pretty good. And the blue is a VPIP between 30 and 40%. And if I code them red, like this guy here, it's a VPIP under 30. Doesn't necessarily mean they're a good player, but it means they're a tighter range. So if I get into a pot with this guy, I know he's reasonably snug. And we can have a look at his stats, 29, 17, 7. Doesn't tend to fold to 3-bets very much, as you'd appreciate, because he's opening with a, tightish range, I guess. So that's good to know. Got a new play here, 40. Pretty recreational looking, but we'll give him a blue for now. So this, I guess the optics of it are, if I just look at this table here looks much less attractive than this table where we've got a sea of yellow, so VPIPs over 40 and one blue. Here we've got a red, 3 blues and a yellow, and the yellow's pretty short stack, so this would seem to be like it should be a much better table. But, the probably overbet a little bit in my raise sizes as well because people don't fold very often. So when we want to act, hopefully he rejams. He doesn't. It's pretty yucky flop. Even yucky turn. We'll try and get it to showdown. So I tend to build a pot pre-flop with, premium hands because it's unlikely a lot of these players, especially the yellow-coded players, are folding even to a 6x raise pre. And then, depending on the the SPR ratio on the flop, if they get any piece of it, they generally just go with it. So that's why my bet sizing pre-flop and my 3-bet sizing is maybe larger than what you would see in some games, but that's the rationale for it. So I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what I do. And I'm always conscious of the stack sizes when I'm making that initial raise or the 3-bet sizing. So I know if they call, they are more often than not pot committed on the flop regardless of how it flops for them. And if we have a range advantage pre-flop when we do that, I guess really we should be printing money most of the time against these short stackers. So and we can dump it if we see them rejam. They normally have very low 3-bet percentages, these high VPippers. So he's 3-betting with aces and kings effectively. That's it. So the hands are played pretty open in my view. yeah, pretty easy check bet there, paired board. Had a club blocker, so betting for value with king high there. It doesn't fold with 3-bet 5% of the time, so we'll just defend. If he was up around the 40% folding to a 3-bet or to a raise, I would probably squeeze there. This guy's done it. Why not? I'm definitely calling one street here. Quite a few good turn cards. Don't have a heart, which is a problem. Heart peels off. It's unlikely. We'll take this pot down now. I think if he had a flush draw, he would have bet. He may have the ace of hearts. Maybe ace king with the ace of hearts. Check the flop. Peel one more, I think. Hopefully it goes check, check. He's curious to see what he's got, basically. Okay. Basically, his check on the flop was interesting, unless he was looking to check raise this guy. I would imagine he c-bets 50%, so, you know, if he hits the flop, he probably bets there. And then I'd say he picked up a heart draw on the turn, maybe a big heart. I'm going to squeeze this one. I'm probably going to go 6x. Flop okay, heads up. We'll c-bet just over half pot. See what happens. It definitely favours our range pre-flop. Love it when a plan comes together. But I was playing in the other club, Pot Bombers, which, I mean, the action there is excellent as well. But for these sort of stakes, so 10, 20 peso, 1 peso, sorry, $1 is 50 peso. So these are micro games. I tend to play 10, 20 up to 25, 50 in this club, and I find the quality or the softness of the games pretty consistent all the way up. And it's rare that you don't have quite a few table options. I'm going to raise this. Try and build a pot. That's pretty whiffy. There are some good turn cards, but I think we'll give up on this one. 4-way, it's hard. I think we need to bet this turn. I think anyone with a queen or a jack bets that flop, so, you know, God knows what they're calling with. I mean, we're in a four-handed pot. No one had a potentially queen, jack, or an ace. They called a 3x bet pre. Pretty gross, really. Gross in a good way. Got a new player here. It's bought in for 200 bigs. 35, 18, 5. Only c-bets when they when they hit something. Yeah. pretty standard stats. The VPIP's a little bit high, but we'll give them due credit. Oops, I missed my free card. Yeah, we'll give them some credit. See how they play. See how much they open. Because they're playing 200 bigs, we don't want to get too tricky with them in a big pot early until we get some information over and above the stats to see how they play. I forgot to do call time, so I've just done it now. Yeah, it's a bit annoying, to be honest, because if you forget to do it and then you have to go out, do something with your family or cook dinner or whatever, and you forget to click it, you either have to sit there for 15 minutes to get blinded out, or keep playing. Either option is not good, especially if you're in the hole for most of the session, and then 6x again here, and then win, and you've been playing for an hour and a half, and then you're up like 100 peso. You've got to sit there for another 15 minutes. Look, this guy's really short. Yeah, this is bad. There's just no point calling. We're really betting nothing. I'll just get rid of that. I would have preferred he just jammed pre-flop and we just run it out, but that's the way it goes. These lower games, yeah, he's got range advantage here. I think we're just going to get rid of this. Running it multiple times doesn't kick in this union until the 25-50 game, which I think is fine. These quite small micro games, I'm sure some of the players want it, because we think it's small, it's all in the context of a player's bankroll. So I personally wouldn't exercise that option at this size game. I just think I'm happy to take the variance. And even at the 25-50, I used to do it, but I think I've become a big boy, and I just accept the variance. Look, I mean, if it's a 400 big blind or 500 big blind pot, I might run it 3 times. Just depends what mood I'm in. I mean, theoretically, if you roll for these games, running it multiple times is not great. You get it in good, your job's done. The outcome, to some degree, well, to all degree, if you're bankrolled correctly, the outcome is irrelevant. So you get it in with the right amount of equity, you've done your job, move on. But we're people and we get emotional and all those sorts of things. So I guess the trade-off is, I used to, in bigger games, I would run it multiple times because I knew if it was a big pot, even though theoretically it's probably wrong to do that, if it was a big pot, the impact it could have on me for the rest of that session might cost me more money from a tilt point of view, for want of a better word. So for me, that was understanding my emotional weakness in bigger pots if I got a cooler or my hand doesn't hold up. So the insurance of that to keep me sane and playing somewhat optimally was worth it. But straight EV theory, I think, unless you're going to run the whole deck, it's pretty obvious you get it in good, you just run it out and let it be what it is. Bit of a loose open ace-10 off, but again, I'm not unhappy getting in. Into pots with some of these players. I'm going to check call here. We'll try and get to showdown. Yeah, we're just going to check call the river here. I think we're good. Ace Jack maybe. Yeah, might have lost one street of value, I think, there. I think betting the turn is probably what I needed to do. I think I bet the river there. I'm not really getting called. Maybe a queen. Queen X calls me, but I think I needed to bet the turn there for another street of value. Not unhappy with it. Out of position with a average kicker against a guy with a reasonable range. We might be in trouble here, but we'll see what he does. I'll try and let him bluff the river, actually, if he had a flush draw. And I don't want to bet and get raised with bottom full house. I think we'll just go conservative. Yeah. That's okay. Had that smell about it. I think we limited. You know, we all tend to get a bit excited when we get a full house, don't we? But again, this guy's got a red profile. I mean, that's just ridiculous. His stats, very exploitable. And I guess because he is so conservative, he doesn't really get paid off in that situation. Let's squeeze this one. Squeeze it 5x. It's the power of the HUD and having some statistical. I'm going to continue here. We're heads up. We can barrel a lot of turns. Check and see what he does. I think I'm calling. Yeah, I think on that size bet, I'll call. Pretty good river. Makes a lot of hands, but probably going to call off here. Yeah. Well played, sir. Again, the colour coding, I probably need to give him a little bit more credit in that situation. It's still hard to fold that river. You can't just assume they've always got an ace. A little bit of damage here. We've had a few very good sessions in the last 2 or 3 days. It's only early days. We'll keep going for a while. Out of position against this guy is not good. If I was was planning on playing a super long session, I would probably move. Well, we'll see how many other tables there are. There's quite a few to choose from. Might go to a 5-10 as well. No, we won't. That's gone. There's a new update coming, as I understand it. I don't really want to play 4-8. I'll have a go here. The table might fill up pretty quickly. We'll see. Sorry, yeah, there's a new update coming in the Windows version of PP, which will allow you to multi-table more tables on a Windows-based operating system. So I think, yeah, we definitely got lucky there. I think that comes out in a few weeks, so keep your eye out for that. It is a phone-based app, but for me personally, gutter ball, not a gutter, no, we'll get rid of it. And an overcard. Oh, and there we go. I don't really like playing on my phone. It could be because I'm a little bit older and my eyes are a bit shit, but I'm just more of a, well, it sounds funny saying traditionalist with online poker, but I do like playing on a laptop or a desktop, especially if you're going to multi-table. I'm saying that I do play on the phone, but I play on the phone, you know, I guess when I'm sort of out of the house and, you know, maybe at a coffee shop and I want to play for a half an hour recreationally, and just sort of play one table, if, you know, if I'm bored or something like that. I have a splash at, you know, PL04 or PL05. But generally, so the moral of the story, the upgrade coming for the Windows-based systems, I think, is good. I think they're going to allow you up to 5 tables. I'm not sure if that's across, must be across one profile, because as you can see another plus here, excuse me, you can do 3 tables under one profile now. So I read that it was going to be 5. I guess the impact on the playing environment, it does give regs more opportunity to extract more money out of the system, which I'm not a massive fan of, I have to say, from a player's point of view. I think it's good from a regs point of view, but if you put your operator hat on, I think that's a pretty good flop. I think we're just going to bet out here. Someone should have a draw, maybe a worse jack. Oops, misclick. That was supposed to be a raise on the pocket 3s. Yeah, I think the that's a crappy card. Really? Ow. Got a gut shot here. I just want to get it all in here with these two friends. Okay, that's a good result. I'm going to have to reload here. Yeah, that was a bummer. I'm unfortunately not good enough to fold. Not good enough to fold that hand before. I wish I was, and I don't know if I should be, to be honest. It did very much smell like a value bet, which it was. I'm going to squeeze here. I kind of like this hand on the button. I'm going to make it a good size. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty easy c-bet in position. It really does hit our range a lot more than his defending range, unless he's defending with a raggy ace. And if he is, I mean, you know, we can maybe barrel him off on the turn. Yeah, he's just super recreational by the look of it. Bless his cotton socks. Oh, thought our six might have been good there. Probably won't open up a table on. Here's a nice one. Got some short stacks, so I'm just hoping they jam it with ace anything. I get a bit frustrated. He found a fold. Okay. A lot of them will limp with a short stack with a raggedy ace or a small pocket pair, and then when they get 3-bet, they kind of get the shits and just rip it in. Which is pretty nice. About even on that table. We are down a bunch on that one. Up a little bit on that one, so about 1,000 down. Which over 3 tables, not a big deal. Try and rep it. Worked. Again, that's a really good turn card to bet, I think, because it worked. No. Again, it's about range advantage pre-flop. So early position range, we raise. Sorry, it's a bit of cheese that we raised with, but unless they've flopped the nuts there, them us c-betting and them flatting doesn't feel particularly strong. You know, maybe mid pair, top pair with an average kicker, something like that, and then when the king peels on the turn, we can bet strongly and put them to the test. Which on that occasion worked for us. And I think it's profitable in the long run, especially with these players. Certainly certainly in bigger games with more experienced players, they will quickly work out if you're making moves, and they'll play back at you and put you under the pressure. So it's a bit of, it can become a game of chicken to some degree. You try and out-level each other. Our mate on the left here, who definitely has the better of us today. He'll probably 3-bet me here and prove me right that he's on top of us today. Oh, good. Picked up 20. Lovely. You know, like this person here just blind jamming for, you know, yeah. When they get a good hand, they're so scared of getting a bad beat that they just miss tons of value by playing the hand properly. It really is a massive leak for a lot of players, to some degree myself as well, in bigger games, because you know, when you're playing in a bigger game, it can change your mindset a little bit, but you know, it really is such a massive problem in poker for a lot of players. Fear of a bad beat. Well, here we go. I'll try and give you an example. You know, fear of a bad beat. You just really do miss so much value. What a good fella here, just rejamming over the top. Did we win? I think so. Yep, we won. Oh yeah. That was nice of him. And that's what I said about short stack. I mean, you know, that's not bad with pocket eights. I mean, you know, what are you waiting for really with a stack like that? But I'll take it. 2 pair here on a pretty wet board, just became a whole lot wetter. That's a fairly nice card. Hopefully he makes a mistake, and he does. Well, we think it's a mistake. Yep, makes a mistake to our benefit. Now, God knows what he had, but you know, leading into that river and then calling a raise, I'm thinking he had trips or a straight maybe. Don't know. It seemed pretty yuck, to be honest, but I guess that's why we're trying to play in these games. There is that saying, poker is about the person at the table that makes the least amount of errors will generally win. That's a really good way to think about it, because we all make mistakes. I've seen plenty of world famous pros make mistakes, and they will admit they make mistakes, but they make fewer mistakes than everyone else, and that's why they win. Pretty good flop for this hand. Not sure what we're going to do if he jams here. Have a look how much is in the pot, I guess. Maybe flush draw. How much is in there? Go for it. Wow. Okay. I guess if we were beat, now he didn't re-raise pre. He limp called a squeeze with that stack. Yeah, he theoretically he was pot committed, So that's, I guess, that's a good example of a mistake that people can make in this game. He's flattered. That's a pretty good flop. Captain Obvious. I'm just going to bet small. Hope someone makes another mistake with an overpair maybe. Oh shit, missed that one. What happened? Oh, we won. So we've got a little bit of mojo going at the moment. A squeeze here as well on a in position to limpers. Well, we'll definitely see betting this. It's a pretty nothing board. Yep, take it down. And check back this one. We don't have a diamond. Let's try and steer this to showdown. Unlikely we're good here. Losing to ace high. Nothing really in the pot. There's no point having a stab at it now. We'll just give it up. If we stabbed at it, then it just makes pretty much 0 sense anyway. So we're going to get picked off by most players. Okay, well we've recovered we were down 1700 before. We're back to about even there, which is nice. We're up 30 peso in that one. Lucky we get a great rake back deal with Quadminers. And this one. Okay, so we're more or less up about 1600 in a 10-20 game. What's that? 80 bigs, I think. Yeah, 80 bigs. And we've been playing for not that long. A little bit of variance within the session. Made a few mistakes early against old mate here. Well, potentially mistakes. Let's call them mistakes. And then got a little bit of mojo going. Ran hot for the last 10 or 15 minutes. Some other people made some pretty bad poker decisions to our benefit. So, over 3 tables, we've been playing about half an hour, I guess. We've made 80 bigs plus some very generous rake back from the wonderful operators at Quadminers and Pot Bombers. Ka-ching. And we'll probably play another, 10 or 15 minutes. I'm very sad today because I'm in New Zealand. Not sad about that, but I came to New Zealand 3 months ago for 4 days to visit my brother in Auckland. Then got stuck here with COVID. I can't get back to where I live, which is the Philippines, until probably next year now. I'm waiting for the travel ban from New Zealand to Australia to lift, because if I go home back to Oz now, I've got to stay in a government allocated hotel room for 14 days with no chance of leaving within that 14 days. And in New Zealand, we're back down to level 1, so we have full freedom. So it's a bit of a no-brainer, but the moral of that story, or the point of that story, was my brother and I sent our dogs back to Australia this morning, and they came to get picked up by the airline, and it was quite an emotional time. Probably more emotional for us than it was for the dogs, because they're going together and they're great friends. So this time tomorrow they will be in Australia, and then about 2 hours after that they're going to be running on the beach in Queensland with their mummy. So that's good. Okay, enough of the dogs. I'm actually in quite a decent sized pot here, multi-way. Probably a good card. It'll slow the action. Hopefully we go check, check. Oh, I wasn't concentrating. I'm going to swear. Fuck. I can't call that. Please show it to us. Oh, and I've timed out on aces. Bloody hell. Those bloody dogs. Oh well. There we go. Old man shouldn't play 3 tables. Should play 2. Look at that. Massive pot. 40 peso. God damn it. We haven't been colour coding. Get very lazy. It's a pretty awful name. I'm very happy about that. Unless he's a beater of cancer, then that would make sense. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Pump this up. Suited broadways. I like this hand. Plays pretty well post. Up against A short. Well, yeah. Limp folding is pretty good for your win rate in this club. I would, and again, going back to my earlier comment, one of the reasons I widen my opening and 3-betting range here is because you can pick up a lot of dead money over a session. I mean, even if you're picking up, I don't know, 3 or 4 big blinds an hour per table in those sort of situations, I mean, it's hugely profitable. I'll try and take this down now. A lot of bad turn cards for us. An ace not being one of them, but yeah, that's fine. Don't need to get too tricky. It's been a pretty good recovery. We're not done yet. I'm getting short-handed now. I mean, oh, is this a call time table? God damn it. There you go. I forgot about it. So now I'm definitely locked in for another 15 minutes on this table, which is now playing 5-handed with no really big stacks. He's got 100 bigs, just over 100 bigs. Yeah, so kind of annoying, to be honest. You really do have to remember to hit that call time button, because I was actually looking to pack it up soon. I think you've put up with me for long enough, and you've got a good sample of how the games are running at the moment, and they're running very good. Another interesting fact is while some countries are coming out of lockdown, like New Zealand, where I am at the moment, majority of the micro players in this union are Filipino based, and the Philippines, which is my second home, is still in lockdown. So what you're finding is people can't get back to work. They're still stuck at home and have been for about 4 months now. I have a lot of friends there in that very situation. So the action in these micro stakes, which is what most of the local players over there are rolled for, in a barrel here, is staying quite robust. Yeah, again, I'm talking too much and wasn't looking at their stack size, and it just cost me money. Anyway. Handy. So yeah, not getting back to the Philippines is giving me a good chance to spend time with my brother in New Zealand and to do a bit of travel here. The other thing it'll do when I do get back to Australia, I'll probably stay there for a month or two. You know, I can hang out with my mum and my dad and my nieces and nephews and sister-in-law and catch up with some friends. So it's all good. But I do miss being back in the Philippines in the town that I live in. Nice little poker room that we play some live. They have live games running every day. 25, 50, 50, 100 peso. Yeah, they do 50, 100 with the 200 auto straddle sometimes as well. No hearts, we'll dump it. A few poker rooms in the town that I live in, Angeles City. Come and visit. Good golf courses, bit of poker, some good bars, a couple of nice rooftop bar / affinity pool setups at some of the bigger hotels. Some pretty good restaurants and an international airport just down the road, so ticks a lot of boxes. Definitely not as busy as Manila. I really don't like spending much time in Manila these days. Got the ladies here. Let's squeeze this up a bit actually and see if we can get someone to commit pre-flop. Wouldn't mind someone jamming over the top here, one of these small stacks, but they don't. Pretty good flop. Try an ISO here. Got it back. Oh, that's not good. That's a bit of a worry. That's a horrible card. Where's a jack when you need it? Oh, there's a straight on the board. Might have saved us. Can we maybe win a side pot here? I'm going to try. Well, the plan kind of worked. I have to go back and have a look at all the numbers, but I think did we make money? I'm 4xing here because I'm kind of on tilt a little bit. Oh, I shouldn't be. I didn't lose. My evil plan kind of worked on that river. That was okay. There's a lot of good turn cards here, even though our kick is pretty bad. I'm sure that's one of them. I think we'll try and, well, we might be pop committed. Happy to go check, check. Also happy to call. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it was probably going to be a chop. Well, has to be a chop really, doesn't it? She's got the ace. Maybe if we pushed all in, we could have got a fold, but he didn't. I don't think he had very much behind him. If that was suited, I'd probably squeeze it. But I've seen a nice little hand over here, so we'll scurry over here for a minute. This table's been a little bit neglected, I think, because there's been so much action on these two. That's pretty yucky. Done with that. Ooh, a non-heart jack on the river gives us hope. Can't see how we're going to win that, but I've seen stranger things in poker. No. Gonski. Doyle Brunson. Only Doyle can win with that hand. 10 deuce. Happy to... Okay, I was going to say happy if they jam, but they don't. We're going to be finished soon, so I'm going to get a little bit frisky, try and create a bit of action. I've only got 5 minutes left on the call time. I think once the call time has happened, I'm going to wrap up the session. Pardon me. If you want to get in contact with me about the clubs and the unions, use my contact details on the YouTube channel, t.me/pokerhobbit for my Telegram. I'm going to squeeze. Not folding too much here. There's a couple of decent sized stacks. Yeah, so shoot me a note if you're interested in finding out more about the clubs that I play in. Oh man, what is it with these gross flops? We're kind of done on that one. Yeah, both unions are going very well. Action levels are good. What do we want to call here? Queen of Diamonds on the river, please. Poker gods. Check it. Just check. Yeah, gonna give up. Yeah, so I hope everyone is enjoying their poker. We'd love to hear from you. We have lots of good relationships with a variety of clubs and unions around the world. That's a straddle now. They might get frustrated and jam here, and if they do, I'm gonna call off. I've already made up my mind. Looking to try and get it in. well, looks like now. I was going to say on the turn. Might have flopped a set, but I just don't think we're ever folding. We've got some backdoor straights, an overpair. Yeah, anyway, decision made. We'll see. Okay. He gives it up. And it might have been a blocker bet. He might have had backdoor diamonds. Maybe he had king X of diamonds, or a disconnected king that had some straight opportunities. And I think with his stack size there, it's a pretty bad lead, to be honest. I'm not sure what he's hoping to achieve there, given that I've squeezed it pre. People call it like an information gathering bet or a probing bet. Yeah, I don't think you need to do it. Depending on his hand, he can certainly check call or check fold. But his bet sizing seemed on the weak. Well, not really weak, but at this levels it seemed weak, because if he had a lot of equity in that hand on that flop with his stack, he's probably looking to maybe even get it all in on the flop. Like I said earlier, a lot of the players here miss a lot of value with nutty hands because they're just worried about the bad beat, but it's a real mistake. So on the flip side of that, what can happen as well is that old sort of theory that bet size equals hand strength is an important concept in this environment, and I think it's very, very true of this player pool in the Quadminers club or union, Philippine Union. That's a pretty good takeaway, I think, from this session, which we're going to wrap up in a minute. Bet size equals hand strength in a lot of cases is a very good rule of thumb at these micro games in the Quadminers Club. Oh, I'm going to get frisky here. We're nearly done. I'm just going to try and squeeze a roo, see what happens. 40 seconds, and we're going to wrap up. We get a caller, flop the nuts. Oh, 2 callers. Let's hopefully someone will make a mistake. That was nice. That might have... Did that get us back into profit? Yay! Okay, we're a winner on all tables. Oh shit! Now I have... This is what I'm saying. Playing for an hour, in the hole the whole time. I win that pot, and I'm up 200 peso. And now I've got a call time for 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm just... Again, I understand the reasons it's in there, but it is a little on the frustrating side, I have to say. Anyway, I'm not going to make you guys suffer through it. I'm going to call it a day. I hope you've enjoyed it and got a sense of the action in this club. You've seen plenty of Pot Bombers footage from Reggie Time, my co-contributor, who is also a favourite agent of mine. Okay, again, I've been talking, so I might have made a mistake here if they got a jack. Oh, okay, that's a bonus. And a very good closing example of just how good things can be in this club. Okay, let's wrap it up. We'll get off there. Pretty good flop. And pretty bad run out. But on saying that, we just had 5 minutes of awesomeness, so we can't really complain. That's the new Windows version I was talking about. So download the app, have a look, and you've got my contact details in the channel. Now I have to find out. Wrap this up. Okay, yeah, we're going to wrap it up now. I will talk to you soon and hope you enjoyed it, and keep up with Reggie Time Poker video content as well. Thanks a lot. Bye.